Right. So when John's bit will be later on, but I'm just going to follow the agenda that we have issued. First of all, and confirmation of the office bearers for 2021-22. Those have already been agreed at a previous meeting. Our president for next year will be Joyce Waddle. Our president-elect will be Raymond Lyon. Our secretary will be Doris. Then I also require from you officially that Bruce Arthur be our treasurer for next year. So is everyone in favour of that, please? Thank you very much indeed. Appreciated. Now, when it comes to I'm now going to hand over this part of it to our incoming treasurer, Bruce, please. For if you could be the budget for next year and also the actual subs. I'll be adding a bit later on as far as subs are concerned for something else, but again, from this is the actual important part of it. So, Bruce, over to you, please.
Thank you, Will. What I've done is really had a quick look at the money that was spent last year and one or two things we maybe need to buy for the club. For example, some pull-up banners, etc. Now, last year, the subs for the year was £96, of which £21, I think, goes to district over two payments of £10.50, and there's a payment to RIBI of £67. So out of that £96, basically £88 of it went out to either district or RIBI. I think we had around 25 members in the club last year, so we're really left with 25 times £8, about £200 for the budget to spend on things. That trying to keep all the money that goes for charitable purposes, keep that in a separate account so it goes out, so that the club doesn't actually spend any of the charitable money on itself. So what I would like to propose for this year is to put the subs up to £100, because this year we're going to have to pay the full cost of the Zoom license. I think previously we had some money back from one of the other clubs, it might have been Kilmarnock Club or something, so we didn't actually have to pay the full amount, but we're having to pay £144 for the Zoom license, which we need to run the club. And as I said previously, we'd like to maybe buy some pull-up banners that we can have for any events we do visit, and also any new member packs or badges, which up until now, Ian Shaw has very kindly funded himself, but I think we've got to take on that responsibility. So I really based those figures on having 25 members. So what I'm suggesting is that the sub would be £100 for next year.
Am I right in saying that the Kelvin Club will still be making some contribution for Zoom?
As far as I know, Bill.
Yeah, but
okay.
If we take that'll be an extra, right?
Right.
And the opportunity will still be given for people who wish to pay on a monthly basis. Is that correct? That's fine. Again, on subs, but near the actual time, we have to ascertain if all the current members, hopefully, will be continuing with the membership for the forthcoming Rotary year. Because we don't want to get caught out, which we almost did last year, if we haven't given notice of a resignation, then we are obliged to pay the actual capitation fees. So. And we don't want to get to that position again. So, any questions on that from the point of the subs? No. Right, I'm just going to bring this other bit in just now, because from the point of view of subs, yes, we have been getting donations in from members. For the club, for our own charitable purposes, but we've also got to remember the Rotary charity as well, Rotary Foundation. Now, I know that in my last club, Glasgow, and others of you will be aware of this as well, when the actual subscription notice goes out to members, there has been, in my case, a bit at the bottom, inviting members to put a sum of money in voluntarily for Rotary Foundation, because I think this is important as well. And I would like to propose that that we give, again, it doesn't have to be done, but I'm hoping to put maybe a sum of oblique 10, 20 pounds in. If it's going to go out to members who normally pay by standing order monthly, then I would recommend that whatever they're paying monthly, that on the first instalment, that sum, if authorised by them, is then taken off that particular standing order. Can I have some comment on that, please, if required?
Let me say something. We have EREY here, which is $100 a year for our members. And when we initially set this up, we said that if you want it, you should say yes, and then we would bill it to you. We changed our policy. We now say, if you don't want it, you got to say no. And that encourages people to contribute. You know, it's just a little incentive for them to continue contributing as they have in the past.
Yeah. Joyce?
Yeah, I just want to sort of second what Bill's saying. It certainly came to my mind following PETS that I've been attending over the last week, that the Rotary Foundation charity has been suffering. Now we can understand that a lot of clubs have been contributing to local charities, but John's probably a better person to explain a wee bit more about this than me. But the more we put in 3 years' time, the more we get back out, and because of the contributions from the district have been dropping over the last few years, obviously, if we want to apply for any, whether it's a district or a global grant, that amount of their contribution is dropping as well. So I do think it's quite important. And I am aware that because of the COVID situation, it's been difficult for us to have small fundraisers to be able to say, right, we'll do that for foundation. So I would be keen to agree with what Bill's saying, at least for this year, until things perhaps change again and we're in a position where we can maybe get together at some point to do either a fundraiser or on a regular basis, even if it's just for coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you think, again, I would propose that this would be an extra bit on the actual subscription notice going out? And should we say 10/20, or should we just say 20? What you can have your comments there. I mean, some of the younger ones. Paul, how would you think about that?
I mean, why not, to be honest? Yeah, why not? It's, if we make a calculus, I mean, it's easy. It's like 30 pounds per month. So, I mean, it's doable, totally.
Right. Thank you.
I think it's important as well, Bill, to know that, you know, we don't want to make anyone feel that they have to do this.
No.
It is very, very much an option.
An option. I think, because I know that in my old club and other clubs as well, it was an option at the end, and not everybody did it.
No,
but if they were going to be doing it, then I would anticipate that particular sum wasn't spread out over the period. It would come on in as a winner. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Right, Ray.
What I was going to say was it might be a good idea to reiterate to all the members and send out, if you could, the account details, because lots of individuals may not have the account details, may not be doing it as a standing order or whatever, or a direct debit. So if we were to initiate that again, so that
Yeah.
it comes up for everybody. And then if they
Yeah.
want to make a charitable donation, then we can
Yeah.
do that. And if they want to then send it to RIBI as part of the foundation, we can maybe drop you an email or something, or drop Bruce an email to let Bruce know that that's what they want to do.
Well, I know we have, Ian's put it out and I've put it out over the past year. The details have gone out a number of times. But
I
yeah,
know, but that was before we were chartered. Now we
Yeah.
are a
Oh,
chartered club.
I think right. No, it has been out since then, but never mind about that. But it's important thing is to make people aware. But the important thing is, if the actual subs, we've had an agreement that they will be the £100 per person, and if those that want to take advantage of the monthly scenario, that can be organised, and Ian, our treasurer, will advise on the amount. And if they have opted to go as well to donate, say £20, then that would ask that under their first payment that be included in that, because I think it's important that we get the money for foundation in at the beginning, and not spread out over in small amounts throughout the year. So is that okay, John?
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to put a span in the works. It becomes very complicated, especially for Bruce, if you're going down that route. If you, what Hal was saying earlier on, every Rotarian every year, the $100, that equates to something like £7 a month, and you can do that. You can do that direct to Rotary in Great Britain and Ireland by standing order, and you can also gift aid it.
Right.
But for Bruce to do that on behalf of each of the members, it becomes very there is a form that he can utilise to do it, but it just means considerably more work for him to do. And would you be sending that to RGBI on a monthly basis, or
no,
a quarterly basis?
I think we might do it quarterly. I mean, would you consider that it'd be a voluntary thing, or do you think we should put that on as an addition to the sub, but actually show it, the £20?
Well, I mean, a number of clubs put on, my own club, for example, we always put £15 on to the overall sub, and that money would go to
Right.
I keep calling them RIBI, it's easier to say. They go to RIBI, and the money is recorded there. At the moment, there is having a long conversation with another club member this afternoon. There seems to be some difficulties in how your monthly standing orders to the Rotary Foundation UK are being recorded. So it might be a better idea for Bruce to control that funding. But what you set your monthly payment at, I mean, I understand that you're trying to get more money into the charity fund. As I say, the foundation element of that for you to attain your $100 would be £7.
Right, and in that case, then, can I amend what was said? If we can make our subscription for this year £120, of which £20 is going to go to foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems a big increase. I mean, I know the thing about Rotary Foundation is a voluntary thing, but if somebody was wanting to do every Rotarian every year, you would have to allow them to take that off, as well. So
again, I would say we had more people in that position. Ian, is that a fair comment? We had more people in that position before we were chartered. It's not quite the same now from the point of view of monthly payments.
Sorry, can you?
Am I right in saying there were more people at the beginning doing it monthly? Our membership has changed somewhat.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Right.
We've only got 2 or 3 who actually pay monthly.
Right. So, we've only got 2 or 3 out.
Like how? Sorry, could I, Bill? If
Yeah.
we did it the second way that you said, so it's £120.
Yes.
Yeah, but then there's an option if you can't afford it or don't want to pay the additional £20, then you can just pay the flat
Yeah.
rate £100. Is that
Yeah.
simple enough to do? Is
That's
that
simple
okay
enough to
to
do.
manage?
Yes, yes.
Then we
Thank
can just
you.
do it that way. Just
Thank
have the
you. Yes.
option.
Yep.
Yeah.
We would, you know, you could word it like we would suggest, and we would like it
Yeah.
if it was £120, of which £20 goes to X account.
Right. Okay. That's thank you. I'm trying to be polite about it all and trying it in different ways. Not.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
want don't want to force things through. I just want
Exactly.
it has
So
to be two ways.
if you just word it so that it's,
Right.
you know, it's an optional extra, but we would
Yeah.
appreciate it if you could afford it, that you could pay 120.
Right. Well, okay, Bruce, is that okay
Yep.
with from the point of view?
Sounds good. That means also if anyone is doing every Rotarian every year, they can just not bother paying the £20.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll just word the forms so they can put a tick in that or something.
That's why I do I don't pay the £15 to my club because I'm paying a monthly payment too.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Right. Okay.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Just
Sorry.
before we move on, Bill, can I just say, obviously, Bruce, if you've got any other questions around how the money goes to Rotary Foundation or whatever, you can always link with John direct. I think
Yeah,
it's
okay,
important that we agree just now about the principle of that's what we all agree is to happen, and we can sort the technical stuff out at a later date.
Yeah.
Right, thank you very much. Next one is to formally appoint Steve Malloy as an auditor. I know that Steve has agreed to do it. So,
Yep.
right, thank you. And Doris, can I ask you, our district council representatives for 21-22? There. I hope I haven't caught you out there, sorry. It'll be. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry. It was Joyce and Raymond.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yep.
Correct, yep. And the subs were?
It was myself. And I can't remember. Sorry, Bill.
Sorry. Right. Don't have to worry about that just now. Right, okay. Okay, but you can fill that little blank in. I think that was, we talked about it before, but we weren't sure just how things were going to formulate towards the end of our year. Okay.
Yep.
Right. So thank you. Right, at this point, Joyce, but just before Joyce goes on, because Joyce will be responsible for things from the 1st of July, but she's working hard just now to get her posts filled for the coming year. And this is why we have asked John, because John is going to have a talk to us, and because some of our newer Rotarians haven't been involved in the past with actual posts. Now, whilst we will be looking at for people to somehow have already been asked, some I know Joyce has told to make contact with, but it's also for other people to learn what some of the positions in Rotary are. It might suit them to shadow a person during the coming year. We're hoping that they might want to come along to our district assembly. More of that in the other part of the meeting after this AGM as well. So it was of an interest to you because the club isn't about 1 year; it's about ongoing years as well. So, John, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Bill. Just allow me to screen share for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, can we all see that?
That's good. That's good,
Yep. I need to move my picture from one side to the screen to the other. I might go off script a bit here. I was doing my preparation earlier on by dictation to Microsoft Word, and some of the wording is not quite what I had anticipated. Anyway, good evening. I'm here to provide some information about club officers and committee conveners and their roles and responsibilities within the club. There will be some slight variances because of the the fact that you're an E-club and the fact that you're not geographically based may have a slight impact on what you actually do. The Rotary International Constitution has a specific officers who are expected to be appointed within a club. Obviously, the president-elect, some people refer to that as the senior vice president, your immediate past president, vice president, secretary and treasurer. You've already discussed your district council representatives. I was going to go in and point out that would normally be your club president and either the vice president or the president-elect, and the substitutes in the past could have been your secretary and treasurer. It's down to each club how they want to set that up. Some people might be more convenient to be able to attend district council meetings, in which case it's a club decision. It doesn't have to be one of the 6 club officer positions that are indicated here. The other considerations you may wish to take into account are to appoint an executive secretary. You could appoint a club council, and again, I've reiterated a bit about the district council representatives or voting delegates. In my club, for example, I am not a district council rep, but I am the voting delegate to go to Rotary in Great Britain and Ireland business meetings and things like that. Probably because I'm the only one daft enough to want to do it, and secondly, I think the rest of the club just shy away from it. But if you take the position of executive secretary, that is someone who could have maybe been a past club secretary and in a position to advise your current secretary on procedures or on assistance when you're filling in things like your DMS system or Rotary Club Central, etc. So that's just it's another position within the club that you may wish to consider. That person could hold another title within the club as well. I'm the executive secretary for Eastwood Club because and it allows me to go in and frees up the secretary from doing things like Rotary Club Central. But again, it's a club decision, and how you wish to proceed with that is entirely up to yourself. The club conveners, the top 6 there, Membership Foundation, International, Youth Activities, Community and Vocational. Please don't think that the screen is overly full there because of the other titles of it, and you probably find that as you proceed and progress over the years, is that you will bring in people who are additions to that particular committee. The ones I've highlighted there are maybe relating to the membership committee. So you've got the PR for the club service. Club service is probably more along the lines of the executive secretary. You have safeguarding issues. You may wish to appoint someone within the club who carries out that role, regardless of whatever role they may hold within the club itself. Likewise for health and safety, if you're involved in curling, like I know one of your members is, you may wish to ensure that that's the person who's looking after the sports side of things. You also have someone maybe looking after your speakers for the coming year, and they would have to liaise with the club secretary to make sure that you're not double booking and all that kind of thing. But as I say, please don't be put off with the number of names here. From an operational point of view, what you would want to consider is because of the geographical size of your club, you'll have people from north, south, east and west. It may be advisable, and I know you have done it in the past because of the connections with East Kilbride Kittock, is you could set up small cluster groups who are maybe better in tune to work with a local club, if there is a local club there, and also to determine whether should there be a club operating in a particular area for a project that you're trying to do, is to make sure that they're aware of it, and they can either join in with you and make a better event, or even just be supportive of what you're trying to do in the first place. The district assembly, the club conveners and a couple of the club officers are expected to attend that district assembly, and the reason for that is there is a lot of information to be passed out to the holders of these offices to ensure that they are equipped to advise the members of the club on what is happening both at district and at international level. So it is important that you come along to the club assembly, and if my quick glance at my emails earlier suggested, I think the programme for it was sent to the club secretaries by Andy Slater this afternoon. So that's something to look for anyway. I did say earlier on about the membership services and the chair of that group. Again, please don't be put off, because a lot of these things you will not be doing, and you may do in years to come, but not necessarily right away. If you've got issues with regarding safeguarding equality and diversity, health and safety, for example, data protection, there are individuals within the district you can go to as the chair and get the information direct. You don't have to have someone within the club who carries that particular role or responsibility within that group. Safeguarding, for example, is myself, although the person sitting down the stairs from me just now is probably more qualified than I am. Equality and diversity, there is a equality and diversity officer at district level, as with health and safety, and data protection is Andy Slater, who is past district secretary as well. So you've got all of these activities. Should you wish to be involved in each of these fields, you wouldn't need a sergeant at arms unless you are running the district conference, for example, or that you are involved in Rotary at a higher level, where you may be a sergeant at arms, but not at club level. The International Services Chair, this is where things start to get a bit complicated, because some of the international services meet up and overlap with the likes of Foundation. The services the information that the International Services Convener would be expected to know is basically what is happening elsewhere within Rotary in the world, and I don't mean that you need to know what every club's doing, because there are 30-odd thousand of them, so I don't expect you to be fully conversant with every project that is taking place, but it'd be interesting for you to make sure that you are aware of what other things are, what other districts are doing, what other clubs are doing, in case you would want to participate in that particular project or programme. The shelter box and aqua box fall into that, and also the clean water aid would be a similar project to be suitably aware of. And again, you would be expecting the international chair to speak to the foundation chair if you're trying to achieve some funding for any of the projects that are coming up. I'll talk about funding when I talk about the foundation side of things. But again, it's a knowledge base that you're trying to achieve there. There is an international services chair within the district. And if you go to the district assembly, you will be given a lot of information regarding what activities are taking place within the district and elsewhere. You can't be involved in everything. And I would suggest that you don't even try to be involved in everything, because you just then run yourself ragged. I would be inclined to keep yourself to maybe 2 or 3 projects that you would have an interest in, and where you can lend a hand then to do so if you're physically able to do so and financially able to do so. Youth services. Youth services cover a myriad of events that are separate, and Ian Shaw and Bill Christie are probably better in tune to speak about youth services than I am. But you have a number of areas that you could be involved in, whether it be youth exchange, the young speakers debates, the primary school quizzes. There's a whole range there to be involved in, and again, it's up to the club as to how in depth you want to be involved in each of these events. Young musician is something that my club takes a keen interest in, but for the last 14-15 months nothing has been happening because there's no interaction with the schools. The schools themselves, as you very well know, have not been there in full for the last year or so. So it's a difficult time, and the process of building up the relationship that Rotary at club level has with schools will take a bit of time to get back to where it was before the pandemic started. So, but there are a number of school-based competitions that you can be involved in. I'm thinking along the lines of young photographer, young writer, where there is no need for any physical contact at all. It's all done by emails and by the internet. Okay. The Rotary Foundation. The chair there would be the person that you would go to seek advice on things like fundraising, and as we were discussing earlier on, the contributions to foundation. Had you been present at the President's Assembly yesterday morning, you would have got both barrels from the foundation chair with regard to the level of fundraising that the district has provided to the Rotary Foundation over the years. Unfortunately, I've got figures going back 20 years and more, and I can refer to the times when District 1230 were contributing $120,000, $130,000 a year to the foundation, and the figures just now are down at 26. So that gives you an idea of the drop over the years. And again, that's got to do with reducing numbers of members, reducing numbers of clubs. So it's not imperative that you contribute to foundation. However, if you wish to participate in a global grant or a district grant, then I keep using the expression, you've got to give to get back. So there is a requirement for the club to give something towards foundation. There is no set amount, but there is a requirement to give something. The Rotary Foundation itself, and again, this is the information that the chair will get in much greater depth than I am providing just now. Rotary Foundation is split into several funds. The main two are the annual fund and End Polio Now. The other one is the Disaster Relief Fund, and everybody benefited from that last April-May time, when every club in the district were given, even clubs that weren't chartered yet, were given £400 to distribute for COVID-related issues within your specified area. And the other two funds, the End Polio Now and the Annual Fund. The Annual Fund is where we contribute money in, and after 3 years, we get 50% of that money back. So it's beneficial to not just the Rotary Foundation, because obviously they're gaining interest on the money they're receiving for a 3-year period, but it means that after that term, the district gets 50% of the money back. 25% goes to the district grants. So if you have a project that you wish to embark on, then you get the opportunity of applying for some of that money to assist you or to augment the money that you're putting into the project yourself. End Polio Now, at the moment, the Rotary International were up until very recently match funding every dollar that went into that, but now that's been reduced to 50 cents in the dollar, only from money coming from the district designated fund. Now that is the other 25% I was talking about earlier on. The money that comes back to districts is split into two: one for district grants, the other one is for helping other districts in achieving bigger projects, like global grants. It also allows us to participate in Global Scholars. At the moment we have one application about to go to Chicago for grant funding of $113,000 for a doctor from the Queen Elizabeth to attend a 2-year course to get a master's degree in public health. That wouldn't have been achievable by District 1230 on its own. There are funds that come in from other districts to assist us. Likewise, we will send money to their districts as a reciprocal agreement to allow them to do things. So I've maybe strayed off the subject of your chairperson, but the good thing about that is that you can gain a lot of contacts, you can get a lot of information, you can be in a position to influence where the club wants to go with regard to your foundation expenditure, and if you wish to embark on a district grant, then it would be the foundation chair who would be taking the lead in trying to get that money. Simple process, simple application form. It goes to Hamish Marshall, the grants officer, and he discusses that with the rest of the foundation team, and we come up with a figure to assist you in what you're trying to achieve. In the past, it has been a straight 50%. If you were doing a project that costs £200 and you're putting 100 into it, then the district would be able to provide the other 100. That is not going to be the case over the next couple of years because of the lack of funding. And that's why we're trying to pursue an issue with regard to the every Rotarian every year sustained membership of foundation, where people are giving money regularly. And what I highlighted yesterday was that of the current 15 past district governors within District 1230, only 6 of them are sustaining members. So there's going to be some very pointed questions being asked in the not too distant future. Anyway, I'll leave foundation. Community and vocational, I've put them together because the crossover between the two areas can be quite considerable. The chair of that is someone who is looking at community projects, who's looking at issues that the community may have, which may not require funding, but just may require some assistance from yourself. I'm thinking along the lines of the being stewards at the vaccination programme, things along those lines, where you could come in and be of assistance just by physically being there. You have certain areas that you could consider as well under the vocational side of things. In the past, clubs have got into schools and provided mock interviews for senior students leaving school within the next year or so, to give them an idea of what to expect when they go to look for a job. There are other areas there as well. The other aspect of it is, in linking with foundation, is the provision of they did an encyclopedia programme for a while, where kids leaving primary school were given an encyclopedia to help them with their studies. Maybe not as relevant nowadays with access to Google and Wikipedia and all the rest of it, but it was a over a period of time, it was a good project to be involved in, and over the years, not everybody had access to electronic research devices. Two particular areas I would draw your attention to under the banner of community and vocational are the resilience officer and the environment officer. Environment officer in particular because we now have a 7th area of focus within Foundation, which is to do with environment. It may be a case where you wish to maybe co-join with another club and be involved in a beach clean-up, things like that. So the environment officer could be quite important to set something like that up. There is an environment officer within the district, again, for access to information or assistance or guidance. The resilience officer, not maybe it's important at a club level, but from a district perspective, it was brought about because of natural disasters taking place within our area, not so much in other countries, and it was to find out whether we could lend a hand to the emergency services and things like that. So it's there is a resilience officer within district. And I hate to tell you that that's my job as well. So it allows you to find out what can be done. Maybe not as important as some of the other roles that we've raised earlier. Now, I think I've done enough talking for one moment, and I've only skimmed over the surface and quite a lot of the convener's roles, and I'm quite happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay. Thank you. Please notice the wording on the screen, served to change lives. And that, John, is the first time I've seen it up on anything. That is next year's.
That's next year's logo, yes.
Next year's logo as well. So, John, thank you very much indeed for that one. John has given a comprehensive, but he said he could go on for an awful lot longer. And being an E-Club, no, we can't tackle all those things, but that's important to realise that. And I know Joyce, obviously, as the incoming president, will be addressing that shortly as well. It's important that we know and we identify from our own strengths what we have within our membership and where we can grow it. As John said, I'm the curler. I'm golfing as well, and yes, I want to get the E-Club into that as well. We have missed those for a number of years, and more so in the last year as well. So, any questions, please, just now on this, Joyce?
It's not so much a question, Bill. Really, just following on from what John has been saying to everybody. It's maybe a good point for me to kind of confirm the areas that we've already very kindly had people who have agreed to take on some of the posts. First of all, our new member Keith has very kindly agreed to take on Foundation, and I had a conversation with Keith last week, and following our conversation, Keith, the presentation that John did with PEDS is going to be the same presentation at the District Assembly. So I think it'll be quite important for you to attend that one, but I'll touch on that further on. Marie has kindly agreed to do membership. I believe Marie was already doing or had done membership with East Kilbride Kitcher, so I'm very grateful for that. Bill has agreed to do youth. Again, he's got a vast experience in that, so that'll be great. International is one area that I haven't agreed, or I have had a discussion with someone who I think would be ideal to take the role on. But if there is anybody within the club that has got a particular area of interest in respect to that, I would love to hear from you. The other one I would be quite keen to try and fill would be the vocational and community one. I know that is going to be a difficult because, especially the community part, because we're not actually based in an area and we are very widely spread. That role, I think, the pivotal bit of that role will be linking and liaising, should I say, with other clubs in the district, because the last thing we want to be doing as a club, I think, is really stepping on other people's toes. So that if there is a club in a particular area, that we can link with them and say, look, if you've got any big projects, we're quite happy to come and help you out, or we're thinking of doing this in your patch, is that okay? So, you know, it might be a kind of more widespread than just in a particular area. So that's where we're at so far. I know John has obviously covered lots of other posts, but I think as a club we need to concentrate on what's essential at the moment. And I would hope as the club develops, if anybody that's not been appointed or agreed to do a post, if anybody's got any particular interest in any area, what I would like to perhaps see further down the line is a bit of shadowing, so that people can then, especially some of you younger people that have perhaps not been involved in Rotary before, to link with some of the chairs to get a bit more experience and to get a better handle on what's expected of you. The other thing is, obviously, it's really important that where we can have somebody representing all of these areas at the district assembly. Now, John mentioned earlier about an email coming out from Andy. I don't know if you got it, Doris, but I know I did. I think it was actually addressed to Chair, incoming President-elect.
No, I didn't. I haven't got it yet.
No, I didn't think you would. So it's about us sharing that information with the dates of when the assembly is on. I don't want to go into every individual one. So the people who have already agreed to do something, you will get something out either from Doris or myself in the next few days that will confirm the dates of the assembly. It starts on Sunday the 16th of May and it finishes on Saturday, the 22nd. But you would only, the chairs would only be expected to attend the meeting that's relevant to your area. Okay, right. I am not going to say much else. If anybody's got any questions, I would love to hear from you. If you want to volunteer for something, please get in touch. Okay, I'll let you all, if anybody's got any questions for John.
Right, John, Joyce, can we add to that, because we have got the communications IT PR side.
Yeah. I was aware of that. I know Laura had
yes,
kind of, and Claudia had already agreed to do that one. Yeah, I've got that down.
So I just let everybody else know as well.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. All right. We're going to have a general discussion at the end of our business meeting, so I'd like to move on just now. Yep. Okay, right. The last thing on the agenda was the Rotary GBI and compliance documentation, which you all got, and I'm sure you've all, well, I'm sure you haven't all read it, to be honest with you. But yeah, as the current president, and also it's a responsibility for Joyce and Raymond. So I know it has been gone through. I've gone through it. So it's just to get approval for that document to be signed by our own office bearers. Okay.
Yep. Just again, sorry to be a pain. No. I'm happy to do the compliance side of things, which is the safeguarding, risk assessments, that kind of thing. So I'm happy, and I'll attend the district assembly for that one.
Thank you very much indeed. Right, Therefore, I will draw the AGM to a close. And now, sorry, Doris.
Bill, can I just confirm then the district council reps? Last year's reps were yourself and Joyce, and Raymond and I were subs. So could I make a point of confirming the reps for this coming year will be Joyce and Raymond as reps, and the subs were myself and then AN other. So whoever else wants to be a sub.
Bruce, would you, that Treasurer Bruce, would you do that?
Yep, okay.
Okay, thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Doris, for looking that up. I thought I knew it was blank, and I just couldn't remember who had talked about, but well, not talked about, but yeah, we had considered Bruce for that. So, Bruce, thank you very much indeed. Right. Okay.
Excuse me, Bill.
Yeah.
If it'll save the club money, I have a Zoom license for 300 participants that I'm happy to donate that for the club for any usage that it wants.
Right. Thank you, Keith. And I believe we also had Bruce. Could you unmute here? Bruce had also kindly intimated this to ourselves, but I think Ian has already paid for the year. Is that correct, Ian?
I've paid until I think it's the 10th of January next year.
Next objection year. So if we may, Keith and Bruce, if we could come back to yourselves, because that would certainly be a help. I know for bigger meetings, say if we were going to host a much bigger meeting, then we may or may not get use of the district one. But thank you very much indeed. Again, to Bruce, from what you said previously, and Keith, thank you very much indeed. I'd love to have 300 on the screen, because I won't be sharing it.
Oh, heaven forbid.
Right. Thank you, Keith. Right. Okay. The general meeting, and again, this is Keith's first meeting. So Keith, good to have you along here. The guest and our unofficial speaker, John. Thank you very much indeed. To the business now. Attendance at other meetings. I'll start with myself here. I know that Joyce and Ian couldn't make it, but I attended the E-Club of Innovation on the 14th of April. The speaker was a Dr. Steph Yardley, a space scientist and physicist, and that was great. The vote of thanks there was given by a lady called Rebecca Barclay, who dropped me. I was going to drop her a link, drop her something and a message in the chat. Rebecca is a past president of the E-Club of Innovation. Now she's now residing on the Isle of Rum, and as she mentioned there were more people attending the E-Club of Innovation meeting than live on the island. Now, she wants to keep her Rotary membership active, so she has joined the Rotary Global Hub. Now, the Rotary Global Hub, well, it's global, but it doesn't give the same incentive for participation like an E-Club would do. Anyway, I have invited Rebecca to our next meeting. I copied Joyce and Doris and Ian in an email. She's got a young family, got a lot of interests in the past and that as well, so I invited her along there. Now, so that, did anybody attend the joint Scottish Forum, Irish Forum on the 12th of April? No, I couldn't go because it was our 41 Club meeting. Ian Shaw, any update on the use of funding for the 3D prosthetic limbs for Sri Lanka?
No, I've written to Paul Cahill, who was the presenter at the presentation we went to get some more advice regarding the budget. Right. And John Worrell's aware of that, but we haven't had any response yet from Paul.
That's fine. Thank you very much. Our district conference is next Saturday. afternoon. No, beg your pardon, it's 1 o'clock until 6 o'clock? I think it is that, yes. Registrations are still open. Now, Stephanie, I don't know whether you wanted to log in for part of it just to get the feel of what a district conference is like, or whether you've got other things and other engagement with Clean Water Wave, saying you're going to be a speaker in the October one. But I'll leave that up to yourself. The registration, I know that Doris, well, I think I've been getting bombarded with them from district and that as well. So Doris has been kindly sending them out. So again, Stephanie, that's something which may give you an insight. It isn't the same as a face-to-face one, but it'll help. Again, just to remind you all, the district conference for Betty's district, the district for her year, will be on the 2nd of October. Laura, any update at all on the social media at all? Nothing at all so far. Again, early days of that one yet. Schools are just going back and that one there. I saw today that Glasgow North and Bishop Briggs, there's still apparently space on their meeting on Monday the 3rd of May at 7 o'clock, when the RI President, Holger Knack, will be the guest speaker. Now, I registered for that when it first came out, expecting it to be booked out, but that wouldn't appear to be the case. So I know Doris has sent that out as well. As I've said in the past, I think it would be great to be able to hear an RI President talk. Now, there's also, we've got the RGBNI. Now, it used to be called an AGM. It's now been called an actual business meeting. That's on Friday, the 21st of May. Now, this is a question to Doris here. Doris, have you previously agreed that Joyce and I would be the voting delegates? Have you been able to register us as voting delegates?
Yes, you're both registered, and Raymond and I are the subs, I think.
Right, that's fine.
Yep, and there's no cost to you, but what they request is if you can't manage to let them know so that they can cancel.
Yeah, more so. And the actual voting will be in the 2 weeks after it. Right. And if I know that Joyce had the same question as I did, that we still have to register independently apart from being voting delegates. That's what I can gather from it all.
Yeah, you should receive more information now that you're registered. You should actually receive emails with the information on it. Have you received that yet?
I've received information. I thought that just came to me as the president for the club,
okay.
And I think you sent that out to all members as well.
Right. No, well, you should actually get. I know. Previously when Kittick did it, Jim Copeland used to go onto it, and he got, I registered them and he got the invite or invitation to it. Yeah. So you should really get an invitation. It's certainly, I checked on My Rotary, and if you check in your My Rotary, it should say that you are a voting delegate for the ABM.
Right, okay, but I think
we'll maybe have to have a wee look at that.
Yes, I'm not sure on that one at all. And Joyce, I'm afraid we're not allowed to claim mileage allowance. Sorry about that.
Oh dear, I've got such a distance to go as well.
Now, I have, being your president, I decided to go through the actual proposals for the actual AGM itself to see if there was going to be any actual controversy on which the club may have to vote upon, or in fact, and so that Joyce and I would know. I've been through it as well. The main things that I have seen were the fact that the current president of Rotary GBNI will no longer be called a president. It's been deemed that because Rotary Britain and Ireland is different from any other country in the world, there's only one president of RI, and all the other presidents come from the clubs. So in Rotary Britain and Ireland, he or she will in future, I think what will be approved, is to be the chair of the General Council. And the other ones I took note of were the proposals, the subs, the annual sub already been mentioned by Bruce, was £67 per member for this year. That's to be adopted, and for next year £70 per member. They're looking for approval, and for the following year £71 per member. And again, it's from the point of view of any proposals regarding changing the officials of the hierarchy in Rotary Britain and Ireland, can we have your approval, please, to vote in favour of those?
Yeah, obviously I've had a look at the proposals as well, Bill, and I think really the shortened version of all of it is that the structure within within RGBI is changing. Previously, the district governors were part of the kind of general council that made decisions and what have you, and that's changing to now to be a board of directors. And I think that's really why the name of presidents having to be changed to chair, etc., etc. So I think that's all of the change are all set around.
It's all structure, Joyce.
Structure.
It's all structure. So, so I would just like your approval to approve those. I mean, there's nothing controversial. I'm sure John's been at conferences in the past where speakers have got up and the red light's gone and they've had to stop speaking.
Been a nightmare, I think is
so,
what you're looking for.
Been there, done that, yeah.
Yeah, so again, Josh has been through them. I wasn't going to go into depth regarding the actual committee structure for district governors, but the main thing is the head of Great Britain and Ireland, because when you think about it, for example, when John was district governor, his boss was the RI president, not the president of Rotary Britain and Ireland. That's because we're different that way.
Yeah.
Right. And I said, if anyone had anything at all, they wanted to contact myself, Joyce, or Doris on that there. So, all right, moving on quickly. The district assembly, as we've already said, the dates for that will be going out, and I can only emphasise what Joyce has said. The dates will be going out not just to the actual people who have been named as conveners. I'm hoping that Doris will actually put them all out to you all, because if you feel like I've got an interest in international, I've got an interest in if foundation or youth, yes, go along, attend them. It's an awful lot easier attending it on Zoom than it is going along to the hotel and spending an afternoon there. So yeah, because, and even to go along and learn as well, because being in Rotary, you're not going to learn it all. As John says, there are so many committees there, but we've got to walk before we can run.
Yeah, yeah. I'll link with Doris maybe over the next couple of days to make sure we get all the relevant information.
Now, I'm looking for an artist or the designer in our club, because the E-Club of Innovation, earlier this week, the E-Club of Cape Town exchanged banners with the E-Club of Innovation. Both of them were E-Clubs, so they had digital banners. And I thought that's quite a good idea. So I'm looking for someone. We are West of Scotland as such, but we're also in international. So if anyone's got any ideas, could you let me know, please? Or you may know someone who may not be a Rotarian that could perhaps help. If we had the schools, we might have gone out to the schools and done something. But I think it's something that I hadn't even thought about, that because a lot of clubs are doing away with banners, because where do they end up? The Glasgow Club, after 100 odd years, have got hundreds of them. Where are they? In boxes in someone's attic. Nice to have at the time, but I thought the idea of a digital one might be nice to exchange. I've already mentioned about our own funds for foundation. Members have kindly been giving amount as and when to put into our own charity account until such time as we can start doing things. And again, if you could please just continue to do that. Yes, it's not easy just now. People who are working, it's not what it was before. It's difficult. But if we could do that, that would be very good as well. Right. On the 13th of April, we had a very good training session. I'm not sure who was training who, but I think we had a very successful. Ian led it, and the Rotary training session on the DMS and Rotary Central. And I know that Keith was trying to get onto it yesterday, and I had to tell him that Joyce told me it was down. I think it was yesterday and then part of today to be updated. So Keith, I hope you didn't spend too long trying to get onto it. Correspondence, Doris, please.
Correspondence, I had an email from Shelley Thompson from Dreams Come True charity, and it's a charity delivering dreams to children and young people with serious and life-limiting illnesses, and they've been going for over 30 years. A dream can be for equipment such as specially adapted trike, allowing a child a sense of freedom, or a bedroom or a garden makeover, or the average cost of a dream is about £2,500. It can be for sensory equipment, technology, etc., or even a short UK break for the family. I replied to say that as we're just newly chartered, we didn't have a lot of funds just now, but Raymond's going to add her to the speakers list for next year, and she's more than happy to do that. If anybody's interested, I can certainly forward the email. I don't know whether you want me to do that, Bill.
No, I think we'll leave it at that one. And it is a big charity. I mean, they've got Virgin Money and that behind them, but I think it would have appropriate to respond to it. I think most Rotary clubs would have got it, but I think it's also nice when we can go back and say, look, at least have the opportunity to come and speak to us and see what happens there. Joyce, any other correspondence?
No, that's fine.
Not really correspondence, but I noticed today, I think it was on Facebook, that Alison Tate and her husband were celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary, and Ian Shaw, I noticed, had sent her congratulations. So Alison has a leave of absence from the club this year, so I again sent one as well on behalf of the E-Club of the West of Scotland, and I'm hoping that she might be with us in the next Rotary year. Joyce, please.
Okay, I think I mentioned earlier that last week I attended 3 sessions of Presidents-elect training. Last Sunday, Wednesday night and yesterday morning. I have to say, all 3 sessions were pretty informative. I've kind of just jotted down a couple of key points that I think as a club, we need to be thinking about once we progress into the following year. Key points were that as a club we need to agree what our goals and targets are going to be for 21-22, and that's based around the 7 areas of focus. And I think that's certainly something that perhaps after the handover in June, that maybe Ray can try and fit in a night And it may have to be a wee additional session where we as a club can agree on what we want to do for the following year. Obviously membership was quite a high priority. There was a wee bit of discussion about the dropping of numbers obviously within the district and what the future might hold for the district in relation to merging with a neighbouring district, but you know, that's quite a lot of information that we can discuss once we get a bit more information from the district as how that's going to proceed. With quite a very good bit of input regarding social media from David Atkinson. Again, great ideas about how to set up your Facebook page, how to, you know, monitor it, how we can, if we want any publicity materials, he'll produce them or help us do it. So a lot of good information from that. Again, one of the other major points was, and we've touched on that already tonight, is around supporting our own foundation charity. And then there was on Saturday, the very last session, which I think is one of the very important sessions for us all, was around compliance and insurance, and what that involves and why it's there, and what we need to be aware of, and very much about, you know, once we can hopefully get out and about around making sure that we do the necessary either whether it's safeguarding or whether it's risk assessments or all of that, to ensure that if we are out there representing the club, that we're fully insured and that we're not putting that in jeopardy by not doing the risk assessment and the safeguarding, especially if we're doing any work directly with children and vulnerable adults. So that's me.
Thank you very much. Right, I'm conscious of time. Now, given that's all that's been talked about tonight, does anybody have any questions? Either we can answer this now or we can maybe put on the agenda for a different meeting. Anything at all? No? Okay. Well, we have discussed a lot, even when John was there. We have covered a lot, which I'm very pleased about. And I hope a lot of you who have not experienced in Rotary have learned a lot as well. It's forever changing, Rotary and what's required nowadays. I mean, I look back to my time many years ago when I was president. I mean, you know, we didn't have all those rules and regulations, but it's evolving for the better. Right. Date of next meeting is on the Tuesday, the 4th of May, and Vice President Ray, our speaker is?
Trying to unmute myself, sorry about that.
Okay.
Right, our speaker is going to be, it's Marie's friend, it's Christine Dixon, and it's Independent Living Fund for Scotland.
Independent Living Fund, yeah, that's good. So,
and it's Christine Dixon, and Marie is part of that organisation or facility to pass on that information to us.
Thank you very much indeed, and again, thank you, Ray, for all your what you're doing. I got a contact the other day from somebody who said, Bill, you're a Rotarian. I've got someone in a Malawi charity. I can just contact you. So I'll look at that bit more on that later. I don't know very much. Yeah. You never know. You never know.
No, that's fine. As I say, we've only got about four or five evenings available up to Christmas.
Well, as with the one that Dreams Come True, we made it perfectly clear because they were looking to do something in Glasgow for May. Look, we can't do it, but if you want to come along sometime in the future, fine. So there we are. Right. Okay. Well, thank you all for your perseverance tonight. Thank you for those who have agreed to take on posts, and thank you for those who I hope will come along to the District Assembly and just sit in and do things. Joyce, sorry, you had your hand up there.
Yeah, I was just actually going to say, I'm aware that there are quite a few people that weren't here tonight, and that they may find the first half of the evening, the information and presentation, pretty useful. I'm just wondering if it'd be worthwhile sending out an email to those people, not maybe just send it out to everybody, but to say that the information from tonight will be on the members area of the website, because I do think it might be worthwhile people that weren't here tonight to go in and see it.
Yeah, and this is why we actually like to record them. It helps us as well for the minutes, but it's also good as well to let the members have it. My concern from that isn't it, Ian can tell who's actually logged on to the website, and a lot of people are unsure about it, and I think given this particular occasion, I think it might be useful for to send them out a link to it, Ian. Would that make sense?
Would that be possible?
Well, I can send them a link. Yeah, that's certainly possible.
I think I would like you to do that.
I can put it on the website as well.
I would like you to, yeah, if you could do that. But I think if we send out a link in an email, and then then hopefully they will then go through it, because we're always learning about Rotary. This is the thing.
I think it's just to say, to try and please take the time to have a look at it, that there was a lot of information shared tonight that people would benefit from watching.
Right. Okay then. Well, it's almost 9:20. Thank you all very much indeed for your attendance. As always, we say take care. I've had my second vaccination. I get a haircut on Thursday, so there we are. So it's a good week. So final toast to you all.
Too much excitement for you.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it. Right. So again, final toast. Rotary the world over. Thank you again.
Rotary the world over. Bye, everybody.